man, y'all sure y'all don't want to like burn one first, man? Why did you say that name? How you hear about
the chicken?
What is thy bidding, my master?
Nice guy.
Forever. Yo!
Greetings. What it do, Maynes?
Hell yeah. Where we at?
You know what it is. It's your boy, Freddie Roy, the homie Lavish Blackman and the Mayne Ambassador Kush. We are the main authority, and we are in the building.
We in the building
tonight.
Yes, sir. How's everybody doing tonight, man?
Roll call, Mayne Ambassador. Who we got, man? Who we got out
Who
here?
do we have here? I said, hello, what's up, Jedi Jen?
Hey.
You. Who else I see? I see Star Wars MCU OG. What's happening? Who else I see? I see Quinta Mayne. What up, Quinta Mayne? You got too many names to say all your names. Who else we got? We got Nerd Mafa. Yes, I said it correctly. Don't question me. Who else we got? Let me see.
Hey, Chillmonger up in the building.
Chillmonger.
What it do?
Good.
Chilling and hungry.
That's right. I see 2nd Street Marvel. What's good?
2nd Street Mafia. Nice.
Right. I see Mike Popcorn Porter.
Hey.
What it do?
Man.
Sir Glass half full himself.
That's right. Or a bucket half full is popcorn.
Oh.
We got Everyday Geeks. What's up?
Hey,
what it
Everyday
is.
Geeks, what it is, what it do, where it go.
And we got the homie Anthony Seals. What's good?
What it do, Big Ant?
And Jared, we see you. What up?
Hey, I ain't got you on that split though, man. Y'all gonna have to figure something else out on that house situation, bro. Just saying. Can't know what I'm talking about. Oh man, but it's been quite a week. What's up, man? Who else we got? What?
Who else we got? That's we got Jedi Mike. I see Jedi Mike in the bin. What up, Jedi Mike?
Hey. What up, Jedi Mike? Jedi Mike, real stuff.
Go ahead, Brisky.
Oh, I was just gonna say, man, I know they're probably wondering why we ain't on camera. What you must know is that we are working on the changes, switching some things up, making some things move. So from time to time, we'll be on camera. Sometimes we won't be. But you know what it is, man. We still in the building. Mayne. Star Wars MCU OG say Mayne Ambassador Kush Slicing. Hello. Yes. Shout out to all the Maynes that's been kicking it with us in the Discord. We got a nice little lineup of stuff to talk about, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Somebody cue it up. What we got?
You know what we got first, man.
What that is?
Already
we gotta talk about the fastest man alive.
Oh, you mean that movie that just came out?
That
The
movie.
Flash. The best movie
Tell him,
ever.
Spoiler alert. Lavis and I think it is a 10 for separate reasons.
Yes, we do. That we do. We're gonna break it down
like a common denominator.
You already know, man. The Flash.
Well, let's do this. Let's do this first.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
As somebody who is kind of removed from the Michael Keaton nostalgia, right?
Yes.
You kind of took this movie you were able to take this movie at face value, not really going in it with no kind of flashback feelings or none of that. How did it hit you, sir?
Well, Brisket, you know how when another DC movie came out that you like to call Back Cullen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
I'm lost too.
That's all right. Proceed. It's okay. We'll figure it out.
That Back Cullen movie, The Batman. This Flash movie was my version of the Back Cullen.
Oh.
You said how that put you to sleep. This movie put me to sleep.
Man. Sleepy sleep.
It started off well. Saw some stuff. Maynes looked like he was swimming in the Speed Force. I was here for it. But then it's Hermes Miller times 2.
Talk about
and that was just a little bit too much for me. Did it ruin the movie? No. Did it make it better? No. But it was a great piece of media to fall asleep to. Now,
It's pretty interesting.
the ending, I was here for it. Why? Because you get all the different Earths and the cameos and the Superman we never got. We talking spoilers?
Hey, we got it on the screen, so if they don't know, now they know.
I love Nicolas Cage Superman. That's the best part of the movie for me.
Okay.
The rest of it, I will admit that the ending with Dark Flash / Savitar / whoever you want to call him, the older version of the second Flash, that makes sense. Don't question me. That I was here for that. I liked how he had to kill himself in the end to close the loophole. I actually thought that was pretty dope. I'm not going front. No cap. But that didn't make the movie any much better for me. A scale on 10, it gotta be a 3. It gotta be a 3 for me. 3 for me, Skip.
It seems like the homie Anthony Seals might be leaning in your direction, man. I wholeheartedly disagree. I do. And I slept on this too. I slept on this. I'm gonna break it down. Should I break it down first, Lavish? Or would you like to break it down?
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead and go first, because it's gonna be such a shock for them to realize that you gave this movie what you gave it, and for you to explain why. I'm going on and go get out the way. I'm gonna get mine out the way.
Go ahead.
So I too fell asleep during this movie, surprisingly. When I woke up, Batman had a bowl of spaghetti. It's like,
it wasn't his mom's.
You know what I'm saying? It was not his mom's spaghetti. His knees were not weak. His arms were certainly not sweaty. And neither was this movie, because this was the most surface level, very elementary version of Flashpoint that you could give people. Now, I know that sounds contrary to me giving it a 10, but let me explain. There are 3 things that give this movie a 10. Number 1, we got Michael Keaton back. And dare I say, that whole original idea of having him be like the Nick Fury of the DCEU and all of that jazz, I would have been here for that based off of what I saw in this movie. Because I was kind of iffy about whether or not Michael Keaton would be able to come back and do what he do. But it was like, I don't know. But he owned it. Even when he showed up as 2K23 Jesus, I was like, whoa. But I was here for it. I was here for all the throwback one-liners, all of that. That's number 1 reason it gets to 10. Number 2 reason it gets to 10. You got Nick Cage Superman, man.
That's right.
That's a real deep cut. That's a real deep cut for people who don't know. that the homie Nick Cage was actually going to be in a Superman movie, whose script was originally written by Kevin Smith. And there's a whole documentary that will explain the whole bit and the reason why he was fighting the giant spider, because that was supposed to be a part of the movie too. So seeing that, I was like, man, this is live. Now I see all the people talking about the CGI didn't look done and all of that. Look, man, I'm gonna give it a pass because it's PC, and they was on their way out. You know what I'm saying? It was on their way out. But the most important reason that this movie got a 10, and I am going to say spoiler alert, because I'm about to just ruin the end of this movie if you haven't seen it. But it gave us the single greatest cameo we have ever gotten in a comic book movie. You know why it was the single greatest cameo that we've gotten in a comic book movie? Because it was the most trollingest ass cameo that we have ever gotten in any movie whatsoever. When Barry comes out that courthouse and that whip pulls up and out steps George Mother Clooney.
Shout out.
The only thing that was missing was the Casamigos glass.
They cut that out of the final version.
They rolled the loving shit out of all of these DC fans that was Snyderverse appealing and Snyderverse hating. I don't know how it is you could possibly get it that right that you troll both sides of a fandom at the end of a movie the way they did that shit. As a Star Wars fan who had to suffer through somehow Palpatine survived, that put a smile on my heart. I laughed my ass off because they didn't even bother to give you any kind of hope. As the homie said, by him pulling up, they letting you know, you, Zack Snyder, the DC, everybody who thought he was coming back, Henry Cavill, every one of you extra Miller apologists, Ray Fisher, and if you're down with the DCU and hoping it's coming back, me and George Clooney say you too.
It's funny, Brisket. It's funny. It's real funny, man, because you know that don't sound like you giving it a 10. Okay,
I am giving it a 10. A 10. Because never has a movie. You know what this is like? You can this is there's no way I could have foreseen feeling the way I felt at the end of this movie. After falling asleep, after trying to understand why the hell the second Barry, young Barry, was even more slappable than Extra Miller in real life. Like, I was trying to figure this out. I was trying to figure out how it is that a Batman with hardly any lines is out acting everybody in this movie. I'm trying to figure out how you had a budget as high as this motherfucker and still had CGI that looked like it was made on PlayStation 3. How does a movie that bad make me feel so good? It's good enough to I want to see it again. I want to keep watching it. It's like it's
saying, man,
like a title fight, and you watching somebody just get their ass knocked out.
Just the irony of it all. Just the irony of it all, because the reality of it is, I give it a 10, and I'm just going backdoor what you said, pause, because I already beat you to it. Because the fact of the matter is, I give it a 10 because I am glad that is over. Yes. We are done. I know we got Aquaman left, but that don't matter. We are done. This and seeing George Clooney at the end was like the dude at the end of the race waving the flag saying it's over. And he had a Casamigos glass for sure. Totally had that in the car on the way in there. He set it down. He had that shit. He was like, "We're gonna cut it out of the final scene, but I'm still bringing it on the set for everybody to enjoy because it's over, it's done." And I feel like they trolled the hell out of everybody, saying 95% of everybody enjoyed this movie.
Yes.
When we all know 95% of the people who probably enjoyed this movie
don't exist.
Drunk off Casamigos. And they probably let them blow right before they came up in the theater, and they got some autographs and be on the red carpet and to be in the magic of it all. They probably got something injected in their eyeballs just so they can be all perky while they out there. I tell you, 95% of the people who said they liked this movie was
one hell of a drug
up off of something, because yeah, it has some nice points, but nothing about the Flash other than the action scenes. And the homie can say what he liked, but I was telling the main ambassador earlier, Marvel got good action, but it's like clean action. It's like keep it clean, make sure that you ain't got no weights in your gloves. It's nice and concise. DC, no man, they fight dirty in the movies, and I enjoy them fight scenes. But outside of that, I didn't fall asleep, but I definitely did check out on the double Ezras. Like, I felt like that was probably one of the most narcissistic things that you could have on there. Just in the way, just in the fact of seeing how he was in public, and then seeing that movie. It's like, what other way could you try to also include yourself going out in the bang on something that you finally got to do? But all in all, it's not even really about extra. For me, it was really how he weaseled his way in to be able to play Barry Allen the way that he played Barry through this entire decade of movies. It's just not, it's not Barry Allen. I probably would have had a different position on it if they was like, this is the Wally West version. He'd have been perfect, but he's not serious. I can't take this dude serious the way he's acting for Barry Allen. Like, this is not how we start this off. And just seeing this movie and the way it did just let me know that we are moving on to at least a different pasture. We're gonna get into this in a second, but I'm not gonna come in here like James Gunn, where he's gonna come in and change the game. It's gonna be better.
Oh, you sure bet not.
I ain't doing that just yet. I'm Mississippi, definitely Mississippi. You're gonna have to show me something, but I do know that we are on our way to something better, and I'm here for that. So for that, it gets a 10. Other than that, though, I gave it a 3. I was at a 4 last time when we spoke about it, but it's still going down the more I review it.
I'm dead ass. Y'all think I'm playing? It's a 10. That's no troll. It's a 10. The more I slept on it, and I woke up this morning and I realized exactly what happened. Because you got to think about how, and you got to think about the amount of effort that went into this, though. Like, Pete, you got to think about this. What did we hear for the last 6 months about this movie?
That was
breast banks and sliced bread.
Right.
The greatest comic book movie ever made.
Says ham and
They
cheese.
had Tom Cruise and who else? Oh, who knows who else tweeting about this movie? Like, they had boys' hopes up because they was like, at least if the Snyder versus going out and it was trash, and we all know it was, then maybe Flashpoint really will allow us to go out with a bang. Boys had hope. And I was just thinking back to 2019, man, when I had that same hope crushed by the chick with the yellow lightsaber.
That she left buried in the sand.
You know what I'm saying, man? Like,
nah.
I remember.
What did you say?
I remember that troll.
Remember that
Because
time?
that troll cameo was the greatest troll cameo of all time. Up until
now.
until Extra Miller and George Clooney said, "Oh, my Casamigos,
Right.
I'm about to show these motherfuckers."
Didn't even shave his
He
beard.
said, "You're not Batman. Aren't we doing a sequel?" And he looked at him and said, "The wrong with you? We ain't doing no damn sequel. Did you see who they just put in at the end of this?
Oh man, I'm trying.
First Batman ever. Ain't no damn sequel. Here, drink this."
Oh, the only thing that was missing out of that cheesy ass cameo was Chris O'Donnell dressed up as
Hey,
Brad Pitt.
you should have been the lawyer. You should have been the lawyer that got him off.
For real. I'm trying to tell you, man. Boy, look, I got to see that again, man. Because boy, and then to find out, like that they shot a whole different ending.
Yeah, they shot 3.
Basically, a whole different movie. And this is the one that motherfucker got.
Right. You know what you know why? Because the first one had at least the proper Batman. The first one had at least the proper Batman in it. And that was if they was going to do a sequel and continue. Then the second one had everybody in it.
That's what they gave him. That's what they gave him, dog. That's what they gave him. They said, here. Oh, man.
Yeah. That second one had everybody in it, though. It had Cavill in it.
Oh, but the crazy
had Wonder Woman.
Yes.
All that.
Yeah, they had the whole 9. They brought just everybody back, but except Ray Fisher. They wasn't trying to pay. Remember Ray Fisher? Ray Fisher came. Man.
Yeah, I know. Got it all.
Oh yeah, girl, yeah, it's a struggle.
Never work in this town again.
I'm just saying, man. Like, I remember hearing all that hype, and I remember all that conversation, and everybody trying to speculate, and it's like I kept saying, how the hell y'all got all these expectations for the DC version of New Mutants, man? Like, y'all should know what's going to happen here.
Right.
You should know how this is going to go down, man. Now, I'll say this, and I'll agree with your point on the action to this degree. They did not spare, like, they made sure to turn that up. Yeah. They definitely made sure to turn up the action to at least give you that type of enjoyment, because they could have mailed that in too. You know what I'm saying? Right. But like watching, I thought it would get boring. Watch like as towards the end with the whole thing with the Kryptonians and whatnot. But it was actually dope to see how they kept having to they kept going Edge of Tomorrow with that live die repeat type issue. I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. And just when you want to give the movie a small smidge of the credit,
right?
Out pops mother Danny Ocean. Oh, and that's the crazy part, is he got out dressed like Danny Ocean. Like,
did he?
Look like damn Bruce Wayne.
Right. They ended up in Ocean's 15.
Looked like he was ready. Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different universe.
Completely. Not even in DC no more. They dropped his ass off elsewhere. He's in Elseworlds now.
Oh, man, he was a whole different thing, bro. Man, working on the changes, man. Working on the changes.
I will also give them credit on the quick explainer of the multiverse. I thought that was extremely practical and kind of the best way to describe it, as opposed to how and we discussed this too. You know how Marvel's doing it. They solid, so they got all the time in the world. At least it feels that way to explain how their multiverse is working. But the way that they did it in this movie, I give them kudos.
And yeah, we did talk about that. And I said I totally disagree, because all they did was give you Marvel's explanation for dummies. They just said, "Look,
they need that though." We need that.
Yes, exactly. It served its purpose, and yes, it definitely served its purpose for this movie, because you don't have, like you said, a whole saga or phase of movies to like actually explain this ish out. So no, I give them credit for that. Like, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, they did. They kind of tripped and fell into that one.
Hey. I mean, just on the aspect of science, it is like the best concise way to explain it.
Hey, well, I'm not I'm not even going to sit here and try to make you think I know anything about actual character time travel in real life. Hell out of here with that.
I've looked into it.
All I know is
it's a good explainer.
All I know is. Who did the? Mike Porter says who? That's a good question. Who did the multiverse better? I'm gonna still say Marvel.
Oh, Marvel still.
I'm still say Marvel.
Yeah, because one, that CGI was not done, and two, who's to say like when James Gunn takes it over that they're going to use this analogy?
And yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like
it's not solid.
You come out with an analogy that works,
right?
And only for James Gunn to be like, no, that's not what we doing.
Exactly. So yeah, it's not solid. So Marvel still did it way better, or doing it. They're still doing it way better. So
exactly. Jokes and jokes and jokes.
Right. Oh man, I'm just glad. So apparently from here, you get Aquaman 3, and that's the official last movie of the DCEU. So after we get Aquaman, that's it. No more. We ain't. They can start talking about it in the past tense, and we can start moving forward. And that's what I'm here for. I'm definitely here for the James Gunn DCU. That's what I am for. And the first character, at least, and I'm going to have to say movie because I know that's coming out in August, unless they delayed that too. And it looks fire. I'm definitely down for that Blue Beetle movie.
Gotcha. Yeah, no doubt. Blue Beetle looks dope.
Yeah.
It looks dope, but I'm not giving James Gunn no credit for that movie. And I'm not I just say that to say James Gunn will be judged by his Superman and his Batman.
Yep.
That's exactly what I'm waiting on for him. You can give me every other character you want to in DC, but until I see what you're doing with those two, I don't know. No.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I know he is at least directing the Superman movie outright. So that'll definitely be like a double judgment right there. It's like, is this how we are running the DCU based on what you're giving us? Because this is kind of like, hey, I'm stepping in. This is an example, and then this is what we're going to go off of. Doesn't matter who directs it. This is kind of what we're going to go off of. So I'm looking forward to be pretty dope. I've enjoyed, Guardians. I've enjoyed the new Suicide Squad. I like the direction that he took with that. He used characters that nobody even really cared about, knew about, and by at least the end of that movie, you did. Even down to King Shark, a lot of people came out enjoying that, kind of almost on a Grogu level. So I think somebody who's capable of doing that is capable of moving DC in a good direction. And as far as Batman Brave and the Bold goes, automatically off top, like I said before, I'm looking for that because we're getting the whole Bat family. And after what, like 30 years, we have not ever gotten Batman, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, like the whole squad, all in the same movie. We've not gotten that, and a lot of people looking forward to having Nightwing in a movie. Period. And again, we ain't worried about killing Martha. We're not having to see Batman Year One. We're talking about a Batman who's got who Robin is his son, and Nightwing's already been doing his own thing. I'm not entirely sure which Batgirl they're gonna go with. Could be Barbara Gordon. And I don't know if T-Rev is up in here. But 500 points to anybody who remembers the name of the other blonde-haired Batgirl that they have. Something Kane, I think, I'm probably mistaken, but it doesn't matter. They're probably going to go with that one. Which one? Cassandra, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They'll probably wind up going with that version of Batgirl, because Barbara Gordon more or less has, like, at this point in Batman's career, they already had their like little fling. She should be either the GCPD commissioner by now, or still in a wheelchair doing Oracle shit. Either one. But but we're getting all that all the way together, and I'm here for that.
Well, for the Batman movie was The Brave and the Bold. Fantastic title.
Right.
If I needed to be on, if not better than Son of Batman, the animated film.
I agree.
If it's not up to par or better than that, miss me with it. I don't care.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. I mean, because it seems like, and like I said, we'll see that precursor with Superman, but it seems like he's going to go more with comic book cinematic linear type of film, which is what DC needs if they're going to be successful, to be honest. Instead of, you can't come in there and be like, hey, here's these toys right here and you can play with how they work and make them work that way. And that's what I didn't like that they did with the DCEU. They didn't stay true to the characters. They made their own version based on some of the tropes that they had, but it wasn't true to the characters. Like even down to Superman killing somebody, it's like, yeah, it's necessary, but we know Superman is always the type of person, like, you know, he will find a different way. That's not the answer. And it's not to say that it wasn't dope. I thought it was a good concept for Man of Steel, but at the same time, everything they did after that, it wasn't true to the characters. And
so I have to ask this question. I have to ask. So is it gatekeeping, or is the issue that they took liberties and the liberties they took were not executed well? Because I feel like Marvel takes liberties with characters, and I do hear some backlash, but not very much for the most part. Like Marvel, when Marvel take like the Infinity Saga, for example, the cinematic adaptation of that went way left from the comic, but it was executed well.
Right.
Are we saying, and I'm just trying to understand, are we saying that DC is not allowed to, DC shouldn't do that?
No, so even on that, with the fact that they did the different cinematic Thanos, that was a conversation for Thanos long before the MCU was even created. That's not actually an original take. It's not like the MCU was like, oh, we're going to make this complete original take on how Thanos should be. That's something the original writer wanted to do with Thanos. And then versus the comics, that's just how that came out. So
right, but I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, when you read the Infinity Saga in the comics, it is nothing like what we got in the movie,
right?
At all. There's certain elements that they pulled, and there's certain callbacks that were pulled, but it is not the cinematic equivalent of the comic book run,
right? And that's not what I'm saying. Then
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
right.
asking.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If that's what you're asking, it's not gatekeeping, because like I said, they still are drawing from the comics. Zack Snyder basically wanted to make his complete own comic run in cinematic form.
So educate me. Nothing. So you said nothing in the DCEU was based off of anything in the comics.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing. He pulled elements of Frank Miller. He pulled elements of certain comic Wonder Woman, and yeah, you have to have some of those things to make the character. But how we got Care Bear's Wonder Woman, you know, that's not how Diana is. Diana, yeah, she would have had some kind of compassion for the person that she loved, but she would have still automatically done what she needed to do. There wouldn't have been no movie like that for Wonder Woman. So that's not really staying true to a good comic run, even if you're going to adapt it as a director to a unique kind of cinematic story. There wasn't enough elements in there to draw from in there to be like, okay, I could see that personality of Diana pulling through in this universe. And that's what Marvel's done versus what they did in the DCU. You might not like where they pulled these things from to make it modern, but it's at least still from some source material. Batman getting with Lois and having a kid, and then Clark raising him, and then find like all that extra stuff that he was gonna do past all that. That's his own version.
Right. Okay. But let's talk
Batman
about what
fighting
he did
Superman
do,
out of
not
out
what-
of the 10-year run of actually fighting his friend. It had no element in it. So like you pulled certain things to try to be able to pull enough to make your own story after one adaptation. It's like, hey, yeah, I pulled all this comic stuff here together in this movie, and then after that, I'm gonna make my own run. And that's kind of why I'm glad it didn't go that way, because that's
Gotcha.
exactly what it was doing.
So let's take what he was gonna do off the table. Let's take the movies we got. Those
Okay.
movies were based off of, in some element, like the Batman versus Superman was based off of, in some ways, Dark Knight Returns. In
Right.
some way, correct. So what I'm asking is the issue with the DCEU that they took elements from actual comic book runs and shit it all over them? Or is
I go
it
with
that or is it that DC fans are saying you don't have any license to like veer off from what these stories should be, because now you are taking away from what these characters are supposed to actually be in terms of who they are in the comic?
I feel
And
like
who we know
I feel like what you're asking is like one begot the other. They took these comic runs and shit it all over it, and then now they're making the people feel like, yo, you shouldn't have any license to do what you did with these characters, as far as true DC comic book lovers. I feel
but that to me
one
that
of
feels
those that go
that
together.
feels like gatekeeping by DC fans though, because if people were shitting on James Gunn and saying, I mean not James Gunn, I'm sorry, if people shit on Zack Snyder and was like, these movies were terrible, like every idea you had was terrible, then that's one thing. But if you're saying you should have done World's Finest and you should have stuck more to the source material because what you were gonna do was ass and I didn't like that, and so coming into these movies they were ass, that's a different argument.
Taking out they should do World's Finest. If they should have done anything, even if it was an original story, you cannot go past a decade or so of Batman and Superman. You can't do that. Like you can't do that. Like when we were kids and we wanted to see a Batman Superman movie, I could guarantee you any kid that was in that era waiting for this was not the way it was gonna go. And yeah, we're glad that we see Batman and Superman on screen, but I can guarantee you any true comic book lover of DC, of Batman and Superman stories would be like, yeah, I would have rather seen Batman and Superman team up long before I got to see this long drawn out, why did you say that name fight.
So what I just heard you say was, if you're not a true DC fan of the comic, fuck your opinion.
No, I'm saying if you're not a true DC fan of the comic, then you're gonna like the DCEU, and that's why they have fans.
Okay, see, but that is complete malarkey, because I am I would call myself a swarmy when it comes to DC comics. I know of them, but I did not follow them and don't know the comic runs nowhere near as deeply as you. That don't mean I like the DCEU. That meant that I don't hate it the way that you hate it.
We're not speaking. I just want to make sure we're clear. We're not speaking absolutes, right? Because we all know that not everything is absolute. So I didn't say like everybody has to love the DCEU all of a sudden. I'm just saying that's why they have fans. I didn't say how many. I say everybody was pulled into it.
I'm not counting fans. What I'm getting back to is I'm saying the statement that you made was you said that DC, if you're not following, or if you like the fact that they're diverting the way that they did, that you don't know the comics that well. Because if you knew the comics that well, then you would have seen let me say it this way. Through all comic runs, the writers mostly all agree that the friendship between Batman and Superman is what makes that connection special. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
There is none of that in BVS.
Well, of course not.
Okay.
But that's not my argument, or that's not the debate. We are not trying to. I am not trying to justify Zack Snyder rushing BVS to get Batman and Superman on the screen at the same time. We already know that wasn't done, man. We know that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm getting at, and we'll screw the, you know what, DCEU. It's over with. We done with that. Let's talk about what I'm getting at right now. It's the same thing I was getting at when we was talking about the movie afterwards, and I was trying to trigger the hell out of you then.
Right, I know.
What I'm trying to say is, so what's going to happen if James Gunn's DC universe turns out to be as well to the DC hardcore fan?
I don't know.
And
because we're all kind of in a space to where it's like we're checked out. So I feel if it's still ass when it comes to James Gunn, I don't even know if anybody would even want to outrage, because we're tired. We tired, man. We're gonna get ass for another 10 years.
It's gonna be some outrage.
Yeah, some people will.
And I'll tell you the first people that'll be outraged. The
DCEU fans.
And I'm gonna be one of them. You know why? Because here's my thing, and this is my argument about this is my argument to everybody who thinks like they should like take the DCEU, put it in a box, and forget it ever was made. It happened, and I would much rather you take what we have already established, get a plan on how you're gonna make that shit make sense, if that's what you're gonna do. Because when you wipe the slate clean, at that point, you better be on point. Because the thing about the James Gunn universe is, if it is not on par with or better than either the 3 Nolan movies that we got, the original Batman, Michael Keaton that we got, if his Superman movie is not at least as good as Man of Steel 1, the first Superman movie we got in the DCEU, then I'm gonna be like, so what exactly are we supposed to be so excited about? And this was the reason you decided to like tell Henry Cavill to kick rocks? Because I agree with you. The DCEU and the storyline they tried to tell and were going to tell sounded like hot ass garbage. And I wanted nothing to do with that. But what I was here for was some of the stuff that was rumored to be done or be in the works before James Gunn jumped on board. With the whole thing with Michael Keaton reprising Batman and them going that route, and kind of seeing if they could correct themselves and kind of make something out of what has been established. I know that's not, the popular opinion. It's like we all want to kind of throw everything to the side and say, let's start over. But it's like there's something to be said about having that continuity. And I'll take it and make it personal for me with the sequel trilogy, because I will die on this hill. I don't care how many people hate the sequel trilogy. It ain't going nowhere. We got to deal with that. Like, it's as the fan base, we have to acknowledge that those 3 movies exist. You don't have to watch them, and you can say, I don't have to acknowledge them. Well, that's fine. But in terms of the actual continuity of the storyline, they happen. So I would much rather you paint around that ugly part of the tapestry and give me a bigger picture that looks somewhat like something I can recognize, than every 5-10 years you throwing paint on the canvas and saying we had
the dark ages in human history. We don't talk about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't walk around and you hear conversations randomly. Man, those dark ages.
And you know
that's what we gonna do with DC.
But here's the problem.
You bring it up. It happened.
But what do we always say though? Those who forget the past are likely to do what?
Repeat it.
Exactly.
But we're not in a space where it's too fresh for us to talk about.
Oh yeah, DC is absolutely. I'm not saying to forget about it, but
I'd love to.
Right, but I know you would, and I will never let you do it.
Oh no. We need a comparison, and I really don't think like we can go in thinking that James Gunn's gonna completely bomb. And I don't feel like that's completely his fault.
No, I don't want him to bomb.
I don't know. I'm not saying we want him to.
I think he's going to.
I just think we're going to have that mindset, because as DC fans, we really ain't got much of anything in the past since Nolan. That's it. Yeah. Like that when we make our comparisons, that's always where we go to first. Oh, Nolan verse was the best verse. Blah blah blah. And that's like, how long ago was that? We ain't got nothing. So yeah, we want him to succeed. Most definitely. Well, and I will say, if any of these movies look like Blue Beetle look like, I'm here for it, dude. At least so far the way it looks in the trailer.
Max. And I know Mayne, and the only thing that I worry about is what Mayne Bassett said. Because he made a good point, and I stand by it 1,000%. Let's be clear. The homie said if that Batman movie dropped and it's not as good as the Son of Batman movie, we got a problem.
Right.
That's a high bar, bruh.
Very.
And if James Gunn don't like leapfrog that bar, we back here again with this same conversation with DC and how they just can't get right. And that's the part of it that I'm as a Star Wars fan, as a comic book pop culture like fan of all of this shit.
Right.
Like that's my thing is, can we just get right? It ain't gotta be perfect. It ain't gotta be, but like I need something to give Marvel legitimate competition so that these movies don't continue to get stagnant, because that is the problem with Marvel right now. And that's not to say Marvel movies aren't good and they trash. I'm not on that train. But the reason we are looking at Marvel movies the way that we are is what do we have them to compare them against?
Exactly.
Who are they competing against?
Themselves.
Like it's exactly. It's like there's no and that's what's causing those movies, like not to go on a tangent, but that's what's causing those movies to come out so crazy, is because now the writers and directors are trying to individualize themselves within the same universe.
Right.
And it's not as fluid and it's not as joined as it was when we did this with the Infinity Saga. So now you got people like, oh, now I got to turn up and do my movie like this, and I got to do my movie from this perspective, and I got to add this type of character, and I got to represent this, and I got to do that. And it's like, okay, now we're getting away from the essence of what makes these movies great.
Right.
And but Marvel, the reason Marvel can do that, and the reason Marvel is comfortable with doing that and taking those risks, is because Marvel has a safety net.
Right,
they had a safety net for the last since 2017.
Right.
When Justice League dropped, Marvel put their feet on the desk and was like, "Oh, we good for about 10 years.
Right.
We can take some chances." And that's what Marvel's doing right
That's
now.
what they did. Yep.
People are like She-Hulk and stuff like that. Marvel wouldn't be doing that if DC was on point.
Hell no.
If Titans was dope, they wouldn't be doing that type of shit.
Hell no. Can't even argue with that. Can't even argue with that.
Forward to. But when I'm watching Titans, bro, when we watching Titans and I'm sitting there, and DC fans is like struggling. I'm like, yeah, if I'm Kevin Feige, I'm like, yeah, go ahead and name the robot Kevin and and make all men look stupid in She-Hulk. What the hell do I care? Right. Ain't nobody catching us.
No, I think we'll be all right with Gunn. Ultimately, like I'm not worried about it, because I see this man with the comic book in hand, and he's open, and and Andrew Muschietti being the director, if he gets him as a director for Brave and the Bold, I think it's in good hands, because I'm not going to say I dislike the Flash from any directorial point, to be honest. Like I thought he captured the Flash's powers damn near perfectly. Like how he slowed everything down, had him like jumping. Like I thought that was great.
And can we just appreciate the fact, not to cut you off, but can we just appreciate the fact that in 2023 we are no longer like outright disgusted by that extra Miller Flash run? Remember what that run, how that run was first received, and now how it's been fine-tuned to this movie. You almost didn't even notice it until they made the joke.
Right.
Like you didn't even realize it until they made the joke, and it was like, oh yeah, that's right. But there was
some good points. That's why I say I'm not coming on here saying that the Flash was like a complete horrible movie, but it wasn't no 95%. 95% of the people was on something. I'm trying to tell you right now, because
you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that, Felicity. Nope. I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told a homie. You don't get to ask about Titans like you ain't watch every single one of them episodes, hoping that sorry ass show got better. And at the end of the movie, might as well had George Clooney at the end of that month.
Yeah, it did.
Endured everyone. Skip.
We endured it.
Yeah, y'all endured it. Yeah, you ought to wear that badge with pride.
Damn.
We did as Maynes. We did that together as
one of them. I wouldn't be like Titans, like Titans.
I watched them twice.
And I'm still, I watched Titans. You know what? Hey. No, straight up though. Somebody be like, you watch Titans, and I'd be like, you damn right I watch Titans. And you know what?
I'm still standing. I'm still strong.
Yeah.
Damn right.
All
And
right.
I stand by it. I did it with the Maynes. I couldn't
We
do it
good on
without him. And
Oh man.
and the whole time, right before we would start, you know what I tell him?
It will endure.
You
We
already
good
know
on
it.
gun.
Oh,
We good on
yeah, there
Mr.
was
Gun.
Yeah,
the opposite to me. I'd be like, oh, they doing a Titans watch party.
Time to go mobile.
Facts. But yes, we can move on and let's
Yeah.
talk about something that was actually good all the way through, in my opinion. Beast Wars.
See,
Transformers
senor.
Rise of the Beast. They did good in that movie. I'm gonna leave the whole Pete, whatever the hell his name is, because I don't care about him enough to remember his name being Mirage. Because we all know he was like 2 seconds away from saying nigga. I'm just gonna say it. We already know.
Say it, why?
Hey, no, wait. Time out. You don't get to just brush by that. No, you don't just get.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
Exactly what Mirage was. He was close.
Let me
If it
tell you
wasn't for the script, he'd have said it.
I full on support Mirage. You know why? Because he wasn't them bots, and that's with the hard R. I'm glad we got proper representation in the Transformers universe, because I did not stand them two little bots. You know exactly what bots I'm talking about.
What did you say, nigga?
No, it's not. It is girl. That's what that is, damn it. Couldn't
Oh,
stand them damn bots, man. So look, Mirage was all right with me, man. I watch a Mirage standalone movie by itself.
Mirage the plug.
Big time fact.
He'll probably be in the sequel, most def.
Big time fact.
But no, they did good in that movie, man. They kind of brought back the old first Transformer vibe, which I think is hard to do. It's really hard to do for them to recreate something like that, but they did it. Fresh cast, and they didn't kill Optimus, and they didn't make him look like a complete trash bot. He actually pulled through. He was even, and still kept the whole sacrificial lamb at the end, but still pulled through on that. And yeah, spoilers.
Right.
Yeah, he's in it. But no, I thought the flow of the movie was good. The comedy in the movie was right on time. They did a good job. For sure. What you thought about it, man?
I thought it was actually way better than I thought it was going to be. What? Yeah, I thought it was going to be way better. I thought it was way better than I thought it would be. Like I straight up, I felt like it's weird, right? Because I had no expectations for this movie. I've been checked out on Transformers since like Kyrie showed up. Like it was just like, yeah, no. Now we doing all this crazy. Nah, I'm good. But the crazy thing about this movie is not so much like the action was dope, the CGI, of course. Like, can we just appreciate the fact that like we get live action Transformers that don't even bat an eyelash at that shit now?
Right. Like they got that CGI all the way together.
There was no point in that movie where I was like, boy, and this look fake. It's straight. It's straight. But let's just be real. Let's be real. This movie was probably sitting at about a smooth 7 till the very end of it. And that put it up about an 8.5.
Right. Yeah. Right. That ending. I'm here for that. I can't wait.
Was like, because the whole time I'm sitting there watching that ending in the post credit, and I'm like, Sector 7. It's leading into Sector 7. Okay, fine, whatever. Sector 7. My man turned the card over and it said, spoiler alert, G.I. Joe, bro. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, now I got to go back to my mama house and go see if it still got action figures. Wait a minute.
That's what it do. That's what it do.
Hold on,
That's
man.
not what that is. Not this time.
He said,
Post.
Kick back. It was kick
Yeah,
back.
he trying to designate my cough.
Oh, you know,
my cough is non-conforming.
not that. He's a cough profiler, boy. Let me tell you.
Right. Yeah, my cough is fluid.
He's a cough. My cough can pass the sobriety test.
Right. Way past it.
Yeah, man. But that reveal at the end, man, that to me, and like just like for so many other people, so many questions, bro, because we all know G.I. Joe is one of them franchises cinematically that we, at least for me, I'm like, yeah, I'd like to forget that they actually made those movies.
Man.
And Madwood don't even begin. You want to talk about, I feel about them movies about the way you feel about the Snyderverse. Like that, I was like, boy, no, y'all did not just disrespect my childhood like this.
Right.
But
they did.
It's not so much like I'm hyped. I'm definitely hyped for this crossover. I want to see if they actually do something with it and like how well they do it, how they tie it in, all of that. But the thing that gets me hyped more than that is just like this idea of like these type of crossovers in general. Because is that where we going next? And like I don't want to gloss over Beast Wars. I want to hear what Mayne Bastard got to say about it. Because was Beast Wars in your time? Did you watch those cartoons, Mayne? Was that before you?
So when I first started watching Transformers, it was the early 2000s cartoons that were on Toonami,
okay, yeah,
Cartoon Network. Then after those ended, it was a like 2-season little series that was like for younger kids.
Yeah.
Then I believe Canada produced a Transformers show, and that wasn't half bad. But most recently, Netflix did the Transformers series, like 3 different seasons.
Yeah.
And the most recent one was Beast Wars.
That's what's up. Okay.
So I was familiar with it. I didn't go back and rewatch it, but from what I had saw, I was excited because like, oh, I know that character. So, but to see it on live action was like really like the first time I'm like soaking this stuff. I'm like, whoa, this is some good, you know what?
Yeah.
But like, I don't have any complaints about it. I thought it was awesome. They could take my $8. You want the $8 again? Here, take it. But yeah, I give it an 8 on 10. It was pretty solid.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's funny because like Transformers is one of those things, man. It's like when you start, it's been around for so long that it kind of depends on your entry point in terms of how like connected to the movies or whatever, or how interested you kind of get. And I was interested, like when they first started talking about doing Rise of the Beast, and it was like, okay, so we finna load up on Beast Wars now, like they going in that direction. And I was like, well, I kind of assumed that they were just gonna go in that direction, almost like, okay, well now they're trying to, loop in a new generation of fans, which of course that's what they're doing. But the way that they made, like the way that this movie hit me, it's almost like they bridged the gap with this one, almost like to where, you can see that they rebooting and trying to go like in a different direction to get, more kids into it. But like to Lavis's point, it felt like the original Transformers movie, because that one was almost like a love letter to like adults that grew up watching Transformers. You know what I'm saying? It was so much stuff in there that like had everybody like, oh snap, that I remember this or I remember that, and this reminds me of so and so. And it felt like that with this movie too, but it felt like they finally got back to executing it the right way. And that's what like got me hyped, was the fact that it was like, okay, they're bringing in more Transformers, and it's not the bots. Like, number one, that's a plus. Number two, like I actually like the different personalities they brought in this time, and so I'm like definitely hyped to see what they do going forward. And like I said, with that G.I. Joe thing, may hopefully hopefully they can retcon some stuff and kind of go forward and make G.I. Joe something live and actually watchable. But that's a good question. Lonely Bandit got a question. He said, "Is this movie connected to Bumblebee?"
Yes.
I'm gonna have to go learn this timeline again, man, because I'm like, okay, where are we? And where's everything? How does this go? Like Terminator, I'm lost.
During production, it was supposed to, but what's the chick's name? Haley Steinfeld. There was a scheduling issue, so they did. I think that's bull, personally, because I just think they wanted Dominique Fishback to, not be overshadowed by Haley Steinfeld. So I just think that's total BS what they said about that scheduling stuff. But that's what it's supposed to connect. But again, they said Haley was in a scheduling conflict, which I don't believe.
She didn't want to do that. She wasn't about that life.
Yeah, she was probably just like, yeah, nah, I'm good. Or either she was money. It was like, nah, we want to go in a different direction.
She gonna get that Marvel money.
That is trying to get paid.
They booked me. I'm booked. That's what I'm doing. Forget what you want to do. I'm doing what I gonna do.
Yeah, Bumblebee has that line where he says, "Humans are my friends," right? Going back to his previous adventure with Ogre.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
That's what he do. We good with the beast of the wars.
Indeed.
Now we got some video game news.
Oh yeah,
indeed we do. Indeed we do. Oh, I've been waiting to talk about this. Right?
Yes, man. Yes, Lord.
Now, Outlaws gameplay dread. We got the trailer, then we got a gameplay trailer dropped. Lavis, I have to know, man. How did the trailer hit you? And how you feeling about Outlaws, man?
Well, when it comes to the trailer, I'm kind of like this with all games, so don't think it was just because it was this one I feel this way. I don't care about trailers, man. I do not care about seeing. I don't care how good it looks. I don't care about seeing a cinematic trailer of a game, because the cinematics in the game damn near always look good. I mean, you can look back at PS3 graphics. Some of them cinematic trailers was pretty epic looking. Yo, Diablo 2 on the PC cinematic trailer looked amazing. So don't hit me with that. But it was a good story. It was a good precursor to set you up for the game. See what you're gonna get. And when I see that, it's like, okay, are we gonna be able to do what we see her doing in this trailer? So we got the gameplay, and when we got the gameplay, they're gonna take all my money, man. They're gonna take every little bit of dime that I got, because I'm gonna have to buy this damn game. I wish that they actually had did this for Rogue Squadron, so I could be able to see what I was getting into, because they wouldn't have got my $8. But this game is definitely getting every bit of take my money. Me, because they got me. She got on that speeder and was getting away. They were shooting at her and all that stuff. Like the action scene was dope too. But when she got in that ship and then flew into outer space, and it was navigating, I'm like, if I could get off world on each and every one of these planets and just fly around and do my rebel business, that's what I'm about, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So when this game drops next year, they're getting my money, 100%.
That's what's up. I like that. Main Bastard, what are you thinking, man?
From what I saw, it looked interesting. It wasn't a trailer that I need to put on repeat. It looks like a fun game that will not get any of my dollars. Number one, I don't have a 5. Number 2, I'm not it looks good, but I'm not into it. Like I'm just not. And it's not because why no lightsaber. No, it's not because of the lightsaber. It's not because of the Jedi. It's just my taste of game, like the going around collecting loot, cash, and bounties. That's the Red Dead Redemption type. That's not my cup of tea. Person, that's just me.
I respect that.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely something like those type of games you have to have a taste for. Like I'm realizing that like the God of War type games where it's more like the puzzles and kind of like more of that exploratory adventure type stuff, or like even Horizon Forbidden West. Like I'm not as fond of those games now as I used to be. Like it feels more like a chore for me to get through those games now because I'm somewhat of a completionist, but it gets tedious when you got to pick up all that side stuff.
Right. All that shit.
Unless you are playing a game where the lore is incorporated into those side collectibles to where you learn like the story is interesting enough for you to want to go find that stuff. I'll tell you a game that did that for me. Fallout is one of those games where I go read every computer terminal and read every single passage because I love knowing more about the story, as much about the story and the lore and the world as I can. So the idea of you putting that in a Star Wars game where now I'm gonna be able to go and do these bounties, and I actually have, even though the story may be linear as it turns out or whatever the case, there's actual ranking systems and there's actual consequences, like relationship type stuff. Like I can have people like certain cartels or whatever not really trying to fool with me like that, and that has been the type of Star Wars game I've been waiting for. Purips. Like I don't care. I don't need the lightsaber. I don't need the Force. You can give me a character, male, female. Don't make me know. Never mind. I just want to be able to immerse myself in that world and learn as much about the lore and about the story as I can. Because all that's going to do is give me more context and insight into Star Wars, which we all know that I go crazy for any damn way. Right. So it's like when I saw they was dropping this, I was like, hey, let's go. Like, when can I pre-order?
Right, because then they have Han Solo like in the carbonite.
Right.
This is supposed to be set in that.
There was a shot at yes. Absolutely.
I was just about to comment on that too, Laps. Now, if this trailer would have said, guess what? This is set in between 5 and 6. You're gonna have to go on a mission to go get Han Solo because somebody hijacks Han Solo. You gotta go bring him back to Jabba. You can have my dollars. Take it. If that was the main mission, you can have all $69.99 of it.
I feel that.
Yeah,
it's. I don't mind. I guess that totally makes sense from the standpoint of like if you're somebody who's not like super immersed in Star Wars, then yeah, the draw would be okay. There's this. Now I'm playing something that actually is familiar to me and I know of, and it's a character that I like, and you get the gameplay on top of that. Okay, now I'm here. That makes total sense. And for me, the gameplay, I don't want to say the gameplay is secondary. The gameplay is definitely most important. But to me, when you talk about games like this, equally important is the story and kind of like what the game is trying to set up and accomplish. I know some people disagree with this, but you can have a dope ass game all you want to. If there is no story and no point to that shit, then all I'm doing is button mashing.
Right.
Like and so I say that because I want to go back to a comment I saw from the Lonely Banter, and it's something that you said as well. Y'all better put some damn respect on gameplay. I mean, on cinematic trailers' name, because there's some people who still give a damn about what them cinematics is showing from a story perspective. If you watching a cinematic trailer to see if that game is going to be worth buying, then yeah, you're probably making a wrong move. But cinematic trailers have a place because I tell you what,
Bobby,
If a Batman game dropped and all they showed you was gameplay, you'd be mad as hell if when you got home and saw that gameplay.
Nope, because the gameplay trailer to Gotham Knights, I won't lie, that shit is dope.
No, I'm cool.
But
I'm
that
not
game is trash. The gameplay.
So that's my point. If you had, what I'm saying is, the game could look fire, the gameplay, but if you get home and you see the first cutscene, the Batman take off his cowl and it's bat culling. I don't give a damn how good that game is. I'm getting a refund, bro.
Okay, so see,
it's digital.
They give it don't translate. It don't translate the same like movies, because there are games out there where the trailer may be trash, but the gameplay is slept on because of that.
No, I agree. There are a lot of games that don't get the credit that they deserve because the trailer, the actual cinematic trailer, or people weren't really it wasn't something that people were interested in, like off rip. Right. And it actually turned out that it was a damn good game. Yes, right. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, like, you have to. Okay, so for a perfect example, for a game like Grand Theft Auto, right? I'm not gonna keep buying GTA just because it's a new game and a new system. If that story, like when I see the trailer for GTA, that cinematic trailer is gonna have more of a stay to me, because again, we know what GTA is gonna really boil down to any damn way. Whether or not the online is gonna be dope.
Right.
Ain't nobody give a shit about the story after, but it's like that's for me. For me to determine if I'm gonna buy that game right off the top, I'm gonna need to know, is there enough meat on that for me to be able to actually enjoy the single player experience? Or am I spending $90 to $100? Because special edition of that game gonna be $90 to $100.
What did you say, nigga?
You heard meat on the bone. I need meat. Don't come over here giving me no scrawny ass rib, man.
Right.
I don't want no. I want all the meat.
I want my baby back, baby.
Exactly. Don't give me no baby backs with nothing on the backs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Baby, no back ribs.
I'm just
baby, give those back ribs.
Right. I mean, make me give those back. That's all I'm saying, man. Like them cinematic trailers, bro. Like they stand for they count for something now. They don't just totally dismiss it now. The game.
No, that's why I said don't take it.
Don't dismiss it.
Right.
Now, I will say this.
I'm cool when they mix it. Like, don't give me just a cinematic trailer. Like at the end or some point, give me some gameplay in it, and that's fine.
Well, see, I'm cool with it. I guess I go back to like when E3 used to be a big deal, right? Because there were, and before games had delays like crazy. I remember where you would get a game. Let's say a game was a year out, and you get that first kind of like cinematic trailer to get you hyped for the game itself. And then the gameplay trailer comes a little bit later down the line. Now it's different because it's like you get like we got the regular trailer, and then they drop the gameplay like the next day. So if you're doing it like that,
yeah, that's cool.
I see your point. To that point, if you got a gameplay trailer lined up, why the hell are you showing me these cinematics already?
Right.
All I need to see is for you to give me perfect example, Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation. That gameplay trailer. That's all the cinematics I need.
Right.
You just told the story right there.
Yep.
So and if you're gonna drop it like that, then I'm totally cool with that. But coming from the standpoint of like if you telling me I have a choice between no cinematic trailers at all or cinematic trailer and then gameplay trailer right behind, it's like, well then yeah, I'll just skip around, or I'll skip the ones I don't want to see or that I'm not that interested in. But I gotta have something, man. I gotta have something.
Right. Nah, the way it is,
I'm definitely hyped. Now, can somebody please break down for me this whole thing about people being mad that there's no male playable character in this game or something? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I don't feel like this came from anybody that matters. It's just a group of people that I guess are not feeling this kind of way. It doesn't really bother me anyway. I actually, to be honest, if I'm gonna play a third person game, I'm actually the dude that would probably pick a female character for many reasons. It's just I would play with a female character, so I don't see the point or why it would matter. I mean, unless it's a game to where like you can fully customize your character and make them look like you, then yeah, like first character, I'm gonna make myself 100%. Fallout type game, I'm making me. But if I replay that game, I'm probably gonna make a female character. Like
Right.
I don't see why it shouldn't be or should be an issue, a question, or
Well,
anything.
let me just do this, man. You know how this kind of stuff sets me off. I just got to ask a question for you people who may be out there that do seem to have a problem with the fact that it's a female protagonist yet again, and it bothers you. Are you that insecure about your?
Must be. Must be.
Is it that hard out there?
That's the problem. Skip.
Is it that hard out there for the 6 and under club? Like y'all struggling like that? Like it's that bad that y'all out here mad now because we got a female protagonist in the game? Like
be over here playing with this girl. Oh, bet you can't please her.
You know what I'm saying? Like yo, what is this? Like what is going on right now? Like this screams I just need something to be mad about.
Right.
Because why in the hell in the world of a game does it matter? The reason it's a female is because it's telling the story of a female protagonist.
Like, who cares though?
If
Like,
you
it doesn't
want
matter.
a male protagonist Star Wars game, go play any one of the 50,000
Right.
games that they done made
Exactly.
that have a male motherfucking protagonist.
Exactly.
Like, why are we doing this, bro? Like, this is when like the whole racial and sexism and gender, all this stuff get on my nerves, bro. Because it's like either you want representation or you don't.
Right.
There is no meat in the middle with these motherfuckers, man. Like it's always all or nothing, and I'm just like,
even if you could pick both, they'd probably still complain.
It'd still be a problem. Because then it's like, oh, well, you don't have the right customization options, and why does the black man's hair look so bogus?
They don't have braids.
Like, what is this, man? Like, come on, man. Like, my thing with the kid, like, when I choose a character in a game, even when they allow you to create the character, the only thing that governs whether, on my first playthrough, the only thing that governs whether or not I go with a male or a female character is which one is more believable in this story.
Right.
That's all I care about.
Like Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, yes. Cyberpunk is a game where I did the male protagonist and I chose him first. And 10 minutes into that, I went back and got the female.
Yes.
I was like,
it just don't hit the same.
At all. That dude mailed that voice acting job in, bro. Like the female V did that. Like she brought all the emotion and like that. You could tell that game was. And the thing is, what I honestly believe is the reason it's that way is because the gameplay designers designed that game for her to be female.
Yeah,
like they wanted her to be a female character, and so the dude is just in there as a choice. It's kind of like, well, no, I take that back because in Fallout 4, I feel like Nate and Nora were equally, I'm not gonna say great, but they were the level of the dialogue between them. There wasn't like one that was better than the other, in my opinion. I felt like they were both on par. So like that's why I like them Fallout. It just kind of depends on the day on whether or not I'm playing with a female or a male protagonist in that game. But like, I just don't get this shit, man. Like, why is it that serious?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it started from anybody that was that it matters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Just one of them. Somebody floating that around. Man, it's crazy how much of that shit you see online, especially in like the comment sections on posts and shit now.
Right, because I mean, all it takes is one person, and then all of a sudden it goes viral because everybody wants to come on there and put on their opinion on why this person is wrong or who they are or troll them. That's how a lot of that stuff goes, and I'm pretty sure most of it probably emanated from Twitter and trickled on down.
Yes,
because that's where a lot of that goes.
Twitter and the rest of social media is populated with nothing but thoughts and bots.
Right.
That's basically like every 3 interactions is gonna be either a thought or a bot.
Yep. You ain't wrong. You're not wrong whatsoever.
Go, just do an exercise. Go take 15 minutes and go and just go peruse on Twitter some random stuff and just go through the comments. I guarantee you in that 15 minutes you will come by at least 5 thoughts and or bots
You will.
in the comments. You'll see
Jedi,
it.
Jedi Jen. That was probably the only reason why
Yeah.
us dudes would play as the male V.
That's the only reason I wish I could
Because they made you.
Let me
Yes.
tell you something. It was a grind and a half.
Wasn't it?
And to get back to the point of the story where I was like, had enough goodwill to get with Pan
Right.
Am, bro. Like, you know how long you got to play that game to
Hey,
get there? And I was determined,
they
boy.
made you work for that. Like, yes, she
Didn't
was
they,
definitely
though?
gonna be a partner.
Oh,
I
man.
tried with the female V before I learned that they like split it like that.
Yeah, that hurt my heart, bro.
Did it though? I was like, man,
That hurt my heart.
it sucks, man. We talk about 3D.
Can we get a Pan Am spinoff while you bullshitting?
I'm
Hold
trying
on.
to tell you. I
want to get Pan Am. Like, you can make Pan Am. Hold on, get him Pan Am and Tomb Raider. Let's get it.
I'll take a Pan Am Express. Like,
I'm trying to. I'd be a
That's
man to
what
play in the
female
canal,
protagonist.
boy. Let me tell you.
yeah, that's the thing I don't get though, especially on that. Like, we don't have a female protagonist. Like I said, sometimes I'd prefer to play with a female character, depending on how they made the game mechanics. I'm down with that. Like, why are you guys out here complaining about that?
But Main Ambassador, what say you, man? You closer to that Gen Z. You a little closer to them than me, man. A little closer to them than me. How you feel about it, man? Do you have a preference? Like, what is your qualifications for male versus female protagonists in game?
It doesn't. I don't have a preference. If I'm playing a game that offers, like, say if I'm playing a game like a UFC or 2K, am I going to play the men's side, so it's like Lakers and things? Of course. But then now they put the WNBA women. Am I going to play that as well?
Okay,
yes.
so let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a dead ass honest question.
What up?
Have you played a single game of the W in 2K23?
Skip, listen.
Have you played a single game of the W in 2K23? Yes or no? Yes or no?
When you try and summons it up back to back, you have to spread out that energy.
I want to know.
To where it's needed most. Skip.
What I want to know. Have you played the W? Yes or no?
That doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's what it is.
We know what it is. We know what that answer is.
Let me tell you something. You had me till you said 2K and UFC. It's maybe UFC, but you know damn well ain't nobody playing the W on 2K, bro. I am not trying to run with Brittany Griner. No, look, more power to the more power to anybody that's like, but let's be real. I am not playing 2K.
What did you say, nigga?
I said I did not buy 2K to play fundamental basketball and watch a bunch of motherfucking layups. No, bro. No, you better no. I ain't playing no WNBA. No,
I didn't even know they had it on there.
I ain't seen that WNBA section. I haven't even hovered over that W on my screen, bro. Like, it don't exist.
See, Brisket, you don't get to do that. Okay, if they go put the W in there, then you gotta admit it. You gotta play. You admit it happened. You gotta endure.
When I spend my main dollars on anything, when I choose it, if I chose to buy a toaster and then put that toaster in my trunk for 7 years and never use it, and put cardboard in the damn toaster. You know whose business that is? Mine, because I bought that motherfucker. So if I don't want to use it for what it was meant to be used for, then I ain't gonna play no motherfucking W. I'm just not. And
What did you say, nigga?
I said I'm not playing no W. That's what I said.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
That's all the WNBA fans. That's what they just said.
Look,
Right.
more power to the WNBA. Y'all got next, y'all got now, y'all got tomorrow. I don't give a damn.
Like I plead, Skip. The fifth is plead, Skip.
Did you get? Yeah, did I get my yes or no? Yes or no? Have you played the W?
Skip. I view everyone as equal. It's
right.
everyone. It's everyone is equal. So
Does your save file have the W in it or not? Yes.
When I choose to summons it up enough to glare a peep at that section, I will do so. But as of 11:31 on a Saturday evening with the lovely people, how you doing, people? Love to see you. I have yet to experience that experience. I Skip. Just know when you go to bed and you lay your head on that pillow every night, I give you everything I have.
Hey, well, look, you can give them everything you have. All I know is when I loaded up 2K for the first time and saw they had the W, the first thing went through my head was,
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
hell out of here. Hey, that'll be, my daughters might play. Hey, cool. Go right ahead, baby. I'm gonna be over here. Just wreck.
Oh, that was a good layup.
I'm gonna be over here dealing with these.
I love Candace Parker.
I do too. Hey man, shout out to Candace Parker, bro. I'm just not trying to play no. I'm not trying to go to the park with
up in my damn video games, but I love.
When the last time you heard somebody say, "Man, I made this dope ass Cheryl Swoops build on 2K"? You know, I got that Lisa Leslie build, bro. Look, man, I'm not saying it shouldn't be. In the
you know what I would say if somebody told me that?
What did you say, nigga?
Oh man, that's all I'm saying.
What else we got?
We good on these outlaws?
Man.
We definitely good, but to put a bow on the outlaws conversation, all of you people that had a problem and said you had a problem with the female protagonist, we just, you know.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Facts.
Proceed.
All right, we got Marvel and them delays. They delaying everything, but we got Secret Wars coming out. Was that next week? It's coming
Yes, both of them, yes.
Yeah, man. I get to see Samuel L. Jackson in all his Nick Fury glory, and being Shaft yet again, just missing an eye this time.
Right.
And going against the shapeshifters, man. Going against the motherfucking, I forget the name because I'm high. But he going against the Skrulls, and I guess we get to see from his perspective how things turn out when it comes to that, man. And we're going to be going finally with the Skrulls, because they don't be paying them no mind at all. We don't know what the hell's going down with them, so I'm curious about it. What you thinking about it, Mayne Ambassador? What you thinking about it?
Let's see. Secret Invasion, Samuel L. Jackson, Rhodey, and a couple of other folk. We got Daenerys Targaryen, so that's a plus. Man, I just want to know what are we gonna do? I'm excited for. Am I excited for it? Yeah. Is it, dude? Keeping it real. I'm not even feeling live action anything. If it's not sports, I'm not here. Once you get to experience Spider-Verse, any other Marvel anything that doesn't make you, not just make you feel good like Spider-Verse did, it's hard to get excited for, but they got Sam Jackson in it.
You trying to say that the Marvel movies have come out have not been on the level of an animated movie like Across the Spider-Verse that they literally worked on to the last 4 days. Don't you wish a lot of these damn cinematic movies put a lot of effort in the same kind of level? Don't you wish? Don't you wish?
That's why I'm loving on animation more. I'm dummy for nothing. I don't have a bleep button,
is easier.
so I don't have a bleep button over here. I don't have
that
a
shit's
bleep
easier.
button
Stop.
over here. But am I excited
Animation,
for it?
kind of.
Am I excited for it? Yes. I would rather have it dropped all at once if it's going to be the Andor of Marvel. This is the rumor. But yeah, to go Sam Jackson, Gay, Nick Fury, Lasseral, let's do it. Brisket.
I'm here for it. Yeah, man. Definitely here for it. I think this is where Marvel starts to pick up a little bit of steam a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to be incredible or nothing like that. I don't think it's going to be no huge revelations or nothing like that. But I think this is where Marvel starts to pick up a little bit more buzz. Because the thing is, all this other stuff we've been getting from Marvel has been cool, right? Like in terms of movies have been meh. You know, we got Thor, it was meh. Ant-Man, we won't talk about it. Ant-Man, exactly. But I think, you know, bringing Fury is a tier 1.
Bad mother.
You know what I'm saying? Like in the hierarchy of these characters cinematically, he's a tier 1. Now Thor is a tier 1, or I say Thor was a tier 1. They ain't been treating Thor like a tier 1 lately though. Like not since. I don't think Thor's been a tier 1 since Ragnarok. Like he's been kind of like side like tier 1A or tier 2 like since Ragnarok. So, you know, Black Panther, as good as that movie was, Black Panther overall still I think a tier 2 character in my opinion. What else have we gotten since then? Ant-Man is like tier 3. Guardians, they're tier 2. So it's like this is the first. You know, Loki was probably the last, I would say, tier 1 type Marvel content we got. Like everything else, I mean like characters that are integral to the MCU and like foundational. And so getting to Nick Fury, like we doing this with Nick Fury now. So it's like now that we do it, you know they're not gonna like that show's not gonna be whack. I'm not saying it's gonna be great, but it's not gonna be whack. And I think what it's going to do is it's going to put Marvel back in this place where people will be back Marvel will be back in people's good graces in the sense that this show will remind people that Marvel ain't forgot how to make good content. Like that's where we at right now. It's just like people are talking sideways. Like all of a sudden Marvel then lost a step. And it's like, no, man, y'all just got to understand Marvel and lapped the competition.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like Marvel right now is like your favorite artist of whatever genre, you know what I'm saying? And gave you 5, 6, 7 albums of hits, like just bangers. And then they go experiment and do something a little different. And you like, WTF?
Right.
Like, nah, I don't fool with that. Like, no, why ain't you doing the shit that I grew up on that was fire? Because at some point you got to branch out and try to see if you even like doing anything different. Or if anything different is gonna fit for you, because it has to evolve. They couldn't make another Infinity Saga. Like they have to try to take some chance. Now some of them you got to be a little bit smarter about, and you got to be a little bit better with the execution, wholeheartedly. But I think when you look at where Marvel is right now, I think the reason that you don't see a lot of panic and it's more of the fandom like talking to anything else is because Marvel realizes the position they're in right now. And I think this show, will be where we get reminded that when Marvel needs to nail it, they nail it. They do a good job of like hitting the mark when they got to. It might not always be, you know, like absolute fire. It might not be like 8.5, 10s, like back to back to back. And I'm not saying every episode of this is gonna be fire, but I tell you what, I don't think this is gonna be another Captain America or what is it, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't think it's gonna be that. The damn show ain't gonna be no She-Hulk. So from that standpoint, I'm just happy to get back to like Marvel tier 1.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad we getting back to the characters that people actually give a damn about. That Shang-Chi is fire, but think about it. They've been basically trying to get us, well ingratiated with all of these new faces, more so than they've been trying to tell us what's been up with the people that we've been like waiting on. So we getting back to that now. So for me, my hype level, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say I'm at about an 8 for it. My expectation for the show, I think the show will probably be at about the same, about an 8.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of the better ones. Finally.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm here for it, Mayne. I'm totally here for it, Mayne. And then all of a sudden we got all these motherfucking delays.
Yeah, well, we knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Didn't we know? Like,
Yeah,
with the strike, we know what it is.
Yeah,
you know what I would rather hear? I would rather hear delays as opposed to changes in direction.
Right.
Like, don't try to retailer the script. Don't try to go and fill in the blanks and let's just put it on hold until we got all the right cooks in the kitchen.
Right. Yeah, I'm with that. Totally feeling that for sure. What we got next, man?
Let's see here. What do we have next? We got
these NBA jump offs to talk about.
Oh, are we gonna talk about some NBA stuff?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, NBA talk. Oh man,
this is what we're gonna talk about, ladies and gentlemen. For those who follow sports or love
those
our
who
sports
still with us,
just in general, how you doing?
Oh,
I know it's late. We appreciate you.
Yeah, if you've been hanging with us this long, thank you. 90 minutes in, and still going.
Still strong.
Still standing. I'm still strong.
There it is. There he is. Now, y'all might have heard of this young brother. He making all the headlines for the wrong damn reasons because it's 11:42. He just can't stop fucking around. So now he's finding out everything.
Ain't he though?
Ja Morant. After the NBA Finals are done, shout out Denver Nuggets. We'll get to that in a second. He has been suspended, Ja Morant, for the first 25 games of the season for brandishing a gun, whether it was a toy or not, on Instagram Live. Then pending his the significance of himself, depending the significance of his self-improvement through that suspension, he will be available to return. So he might be more, which probably will be. Brisket, what do you think about this? Is it 25 games enough? Is it not enough?
Well, let's back up a little bit first because I want to give people a little bit more of a TLDR because I need people to understand where I'm coming from on this. So the homie Ja Morant during the regular season NBA got busted on camera on IG flashing his gun around. He had an incident at a club in Denver where he was seen with a gun in the club. Now, it don't take a rocket scientist to know that the NBA don't look too kindly about that kind of shit. So then, as this comes out, you hear about all of these other incidents, which include his mother calling him the Foot Locker to whoop some Foot Locker employee's ass because he pissed off. His mother calling him outside of a grocery store or something like that to handle some business one time. Ja Morant trying to whoop a 17-year-old's ass and pulling the gun out on him in Memphis over a game of basketball. Ja Morant and his homeboys outside of a game pointing lasers at the Indiana Pacers bus. And this warranted an 8-game suspension from the league during the season. They said, look, boy, get your shit together. You're making all this money, but you're about to fuck it up. So here go 8 games. He did the typical whole apologetic response thing and did the little song and dance. And then we saw the playoffs and what happened. Fast forward to the season.
With Jalen Rose.
Yes. Yep, indeed. Mm-hmm. Fast forward to the off season, and then lo and behold, his homie drops an Instagram story. Ja Morant got another pistol in his hand. And as the homie Mayne ambassador say, the NBA said, you know what? sit your ass down for 25 games. So the question is it enough? How do I feel about it? I'm gonna tell you like this. When you get to the NBA, that is a testament of dedication, discipline, ability, and focus. You don't get to the NBA just on talent. You don't become a number one pick and the face and the potential face of a franchise in the league just for having some talent. You got to be special. And it was a movie. It was a little comic character movie, comic book named Spider-Man. He got an uncle. Uncle used to tell him, with great power comes great responsibility. Clearly, Ja Morant daddy ain't never tell that man that shit. Now, I give Ja Morant's parents all the credit in the world because, like I said, to get to the NBA, it takes a certain amount of dedication and level, and effort, and discipline. That don't just happen overnight. Like, you had to have had him focused enough to get to that point. So kudos on that. But the thing that pisses me off as not just an NBA fan, but as a father, and something that I'm learning firsthand my damn self right now is your job don't stop when your child turns 18. In fact, it's more important because once that child goes out into the world and start dealing with this shit, oh, it's different. And I don't care what old heads you think you are, how much wisdom you got. The shit that these kids is dealing with out here ain't got. We ain't dealt with this because we did all the dirt. I want all my old heads in here. Lavish, LB. I ain't trying to call out people ages or nothing like that, but I'm just saying. What's the one thing that we didn't have to worry about when we was out doing the dirt we was doing? Social motherfucking media.
Facts.
We ain't had to worry about nobody putting our dirt online. If people really was to go back and put some of our skeletons online, bruh, you know how quick some of us would get canceled? And I ain't talking about just off social. I'm talking about some of us might not even have careers. I ain't talking about myself, but I'm just saying some of y'all got some dirt. but like real talk, we can't relate to some of the shit that these kids is going through. But we can't abandon them either. Like, we can't just be like, hey man, that's y'all got to figure that out. It's incumbent upon us to like really try to help these kids, man, because what you see with like somebody like Ja, yeah, you can say, oh, it's just a spoiled athlete that don't get it. No, bro, like it's deeper than that. Because it wasn't just him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go back and you go back and read up on this and you find out like that his parents is involved. Like, his mom's was calling him to go address some of these issues. That's deeper than just him being a spoiled athlete, bro. And so what we got to start doing is we got to start holding motherfuckers accountable for real. And I ain't just talking about on this like social media standard that I'm talking about. I'm saying we all have a job to, like, it takes a village. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all got to start calling our loved ones and people that are closest to us out on their bullshit. Because this is what ends up happening. I'm sure that Ja Morant been acting like a little baby thug ever since he got some change. He might have even been like that before he got rich from the NBA. But at some point, somebody should have pulled him aside and been like, nah, bro, that ain't you. You about to go in a whole different direction, and that whole shit you on, you need to be on something completely different. And if his father's not doing it, then he should have somebody else in his life or in his circle that he respects enough that can check him like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Like LB said, too many of these parents today want to be their kid best friend. You want your kid to tell you I want them to feel comfortable to come talk to me. No, damn that. I want my kid to have a healthy fear of me. And I don't mean that in a way like they don't feel open to come talk to me. I want them to come to me with respect. I want my child to be able to have a conversation. Oh, nah, who ain't an old head, bro? I don't know. What is the age qualification on an old head, bro? I'm 41. That don't make me an old head. I don't know what an old head is. I got grown ass kids out here. I got a 19-year-old. We're going on 20.
38.
And I earned my stripes. But no, like with John Morant, man, the 25 games, I think that's sufficient, man. And you got to look at it like this. I can't remember the dude's name, but they had a guy in the NBA got caught up in some domestic violence stuff. He got 30 games. So 30 games for some domestic violence, and then you give John Morant 25. Okay, that makes sense because you couldn't give him more than 30. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't give him more because then it's gonna be like, oh, so we saying it's cool to, that kind of stuff. But I will tell you this: if he come back and he on that same bullshit, bro, or if in this 25 games anything we hear a peep out of him negatively, bounce his ass right up out the league, dog. Because that you and I hate to say it like that, but it's like you would rather that be the case as opposed to him getting shot outside of an arena on some bullshit. And that's my fear. You know what I'm saying? My fear out of all of this, I ain't worried about him and gun safety and all that shit, man. Let's be real. Everybody and their mama packing guns in America these days. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying the reality. Not everybody's equipped to handle a gun, and not everybody understands the responsibility and the level of gravity that comes with holding that in your hand. But the reality is everybody's packing them. So it is what it is from that standpoint. But what I'm saying is be smart enough to understand that it's not just about you, it's about your child, because he is a father himself. And it's about everybody else that's looking at that. Because I guarantee you, there's some real niggas out there that think, oh, you think you about that life, and will slide on that motherfucker and like see if he really about it like that.
Right.
We see this now all the time. Look what just happened, RIP Takeoff. But like, look, in somewhere that you don't necessarily need to be when you got that kind of money, and then you get caught up in some bullshit. Now you can say, oh, conspiracy, whatever, but regardless, it's like when you fuck around, you find out eventually. You know what I'm saying? And as somebody who has had family members that I've seen fuck around and find out, like that ain't nothing to play with, bro. And it's not a game. So I really do hope. I think the 25 was cool. I hope that this is a wake up call, because it's not just the 25 games. The NBA is putting a rule into place this year where, in order for you to qualify for MVP or any postseason awards, you got to play at least 65 games. Well, by missing 25 games, John Morant is now like out. Like he's out of qualification for that.
Like he's going to lose out on 7.7 million.
7.7 million in just regular season money, but now he's not eligible for the Supermax. Because instead of he could have got what is that 200 million, it would have been like 230, 240 if he'd have made the all NBA team. But now he can't make all NBA.
All that stuff.
He can't do that. So he didn't just mess himself out of who knows how much money, and that's not even talking about sponsorship. So and to me, people could talk about the money, and that's gonna hurt the pocket, but it's more than that to me. It's about that brother's life. So we'll see what happens, man. But it pisses me off when I see like these young kids and they out here trying to turn up and they thinking like this gangster shit is fun, and it's supposed to be. It's like, man, look, first of all, half these motherfuckers you listening to on these records ain't living that life. They ain't about that.
Facts.
Don't let them fool you. And they getting gassed up by a bunch of motherfuckers in suits that know how to create controversy and stir up shit in order to sell records. And the moment they get ready to shift the paradigm and move into a whole different frame of mind and have people on some other shit, they'll switch it up.
Right.
Even if that means somebody got to die, just go ask Tupac and Biggie about that shit. If somebody got to switch a paradigm, if they got to switch the vibe up, they'll do whatever they got to do to make that shit happen. It ain't all this stuff you listening to thinking these niggas out here really doing that. They not. And I said it because they not.
Because the moment they try, they go to jail.
Exactly. And then or they go tell it.
Right.
Because they don't want to go to jail. So they go Tekashi on them boys. Go tell the whole thing.
Right. They get caught up in the gym.
That part.
That's how I go. But you know what?
05 motherfucker slide on your ass. You like it? I'm
How
right.
about-
Wasn't really holding the gun for real. Guess what, bro? They don't give a shit.
How
Run it.
about them? How about them Denver Nuggets?
Well, we got, before we get to them Nuggets, we got one more thing to do.
What's that?
One more thing. You gotta go. We got just a little bit of news. A little news segment called Quick Hits. Just a little bit of news.
Okay.
Now, some of y'all might have heard already. The CW has basically canceled all of their scripted drama television shows, including the Arrowverse, Riverdale, Supernatural spinoff, the whole nine. But Superman and Lois still lives for one more season. Season 4, 10 episodes. More than likely a send-off. The CW has already purchased new titles, mostly from Canada originals. So that's what that channel is turning into. RIP. It was good while it lasted. Then we have a little bit of news on My Adventures with Superman, the new animated series that has been set to air on July 6th on Adult Swim. Then the next day, of course, it'll be on Max. But this is, like I said, this is one of the shows Warner Bros. Was trying to sell off. But they didn't get a chance to sell this one off since Adult Swim is still Warner Bros. But we're still waiting on news for that Batman Cape Crusader. That's what I really want to know about. Then we have a few anime titles that are coming out for all my anime people out there. We have some Rurouni Kenshin premiering next month. We have the Jujutsu Kaisen premiering next month, as well as the Bleach Second Core. And then we had Netflix's Tudum Festival out in Brazil. We had some first looks at One Piece, the live action series based off the manga by Eiichiro Oda. We had some Avatar: The Last Airbender first looks. None of the bending, just stills and photos. Look awesome though. And we got a behind the scenes video of Rebel Moon, the new project from Zack Snyder that he's been developing over the years. He's finally shooting it. I believe it's still shooting, but we got a little behind the scenes video of that. So if you're interested on that, make sure to go on the YouTubes and the Twitters and check that out. And I think that's about it for the quick hits. Now, back to what Laps Man was talking about. The Denver Nuggets.
The Nuggets, man.
This
Yes.
is also a segment called Keep That Name Out Your Mouth. Now, the Denver Nuggets. First championship ever by this team, coached by Mike Malone, captained by the Joker himself, Nikola Jokic. Put some respect on that man's name. What I don't care if you may want to call him boring, call him unathletic. That man did his thing. Finals MVP. Now they're giving out Western Conference Finals MVP. He got all the MVP, Skip, except regular season. Should have got that one too, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I see all these, and you know what? Before I even get to the respect part, I want to talk to ESPN. Yes, you with ESPN could be listening, could be not. I don't care. Now, the Denver Nuggets, like I said, made history. First championship ever. The ESPN, your First Takes, your NBA Live with Kendrick Perkins and them, your Get Up with Greeny and JJ Redick, and all of those guys barely covered the Denver Nuggets and gave them their flowers after the championship was won. After that night, there wasn't even a segment worth an hour long on First Take. Let that be LeBron, KD, Steph Curry, Giannis. We're still talking about it the whole week. There's a parade in everybody's city if that happens. ESPN, you should be ashamed of yourself. Fox Sports, be ashamed of yourselves. Who cares if Denver is a small market? They did the damn thing. A shame, all of you. Next, getting back to the Denver Nuggets. I want to talk about Mike Malone. Some people are calling him a crybaby, a powder. Where's our respect through the whole series? He won't keep the Lakers' name out his mouth. So what? Everybody doubted him. They've been doubting this man for 3 years. 3 years, Alan Lavis, since the bubble. He said, just wait.
Started bubbling.
Started bubbling. He said, just wait until my entire squad is healthy. Went to the final. Before we get to the finals, who did he take out first? Was it the Suns? So they took out the Suns, right? They took out the Suns, then took out somebody else we don't care, then took out the Lakers. I love the Lakers. That's my team. Swept them. Get them out of here. You stink. Next, went to the finals. Jimmy Butler and the Heat. We all knew what was going to happen. There is no superstar on that Heat team. Jimmy Butler is a superstar, but in his own way. He is not a number one option at 32, 33 years old. He can only summons it up. So much, Skip. It's hard to do it, especially when you're not in the bubble. Gentlemen's sweep. We call that a 4-1 win. They got swept. Pat Riley, maybe he'll get another one. Maybe he won't. God bless him. Eric Spoelstra, still one hell of a coach. Getting back to Mike Malone. Call him a crybaby, a powder, all you want. He did what he had to do. And maybe he was acting like a fool at that press conference. Hat cocked to the side, chain on, looking like early 2000s. Do I care? No, because he deserved it. Yes, he had too much Hennessy. Hennessy, breakfast of champions in the hood. I have no problem with it. Nikola Jokic, he said he wanted to go home, back to Serbia, go to his farm. He's sick of it. He want to go on vacation. His tail's still in Miami and Skip. He's still in Miami partying. He ain't thinking about going back to Russia. So this is his moment.
He's doing it here in America.
Live in America. Live in your moment. Live in your moment. I salute you, Jokic. I salute you, Mike Malone. And for everybody who doesn't like it, I only have one thing to say to you. Keep Mike Malone's name in the Denver Jokic, head captain by Nikola Jokic.
Keep my name out your fucking mouth!
Thank you.
You're good.
Gentlemen, I think that was it, man.
Hey, I ain't even got to add nothing to that because as a Spurs fan, all I can say is 1,000% facts.
They never lied.
Watching that Denver Nuggets final and the coverage thereafter was so similar to 99.
Yep.
Spurs won the title. Nobody really said shit. It was like, oh, it was a fluke. It was a lockout season, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, well, we got 4 more of them after that, too. So, and getting ready to win a few more. So, congrats to the Nuggets. Enjoy them while you got them.
They get their year.
They might have 2 years, to be honest. I think they might be able to repeat next year. Like low key. I think they got, if they can figure out their salary situation, then they're gonna be good. But please believe, Los Spurs are coming for that title.
Your
with a
guy
man.
doesn't even want
man.
to play in the preseason. I mean, not the preseason, the summer league, whatever.
You don't need to. I don't give a damn about no summer league, bro. This ain't 2K. I ain't trying to go against Shep Owens. I'm trying to win titles.
Hey,
Get that man in training camp with draft him and then put him on the first plane from Virgin Islands
and send him to the most greasiest fast food restaurant chain in San Antonio. That's exactly
he could use it because he needs a few more LBs. You seen that frame, bro? He need a couple more calories.
Charles Barkley. Shout out Charles.
Hey, Charles, shout out to Charles, because Charles gonna be mad as hell because he's gonna be spending a lot of time down here if he's gonna stay with TNT in the next 10 years. Because this is about to go down. Please believe.
Churros are one hell of a drug. That's all I gotta say.
Exactly. They sure are. They will get you. But yeah, no, Denver did their thing, man. Like, if you didn't think Denver was gonna win that series, you must be a Heat fan, because there wasn't no way in hell. It wasn't happening, man. And people want to say, "Oh, this was a fluke," blah blah blah. Man, this is what the NBA is made of. You know what I'm saying? Like, people get hurt, injuries happen. You can go back and look at every final series and say, "Oh, well, if this person was healthy, or if this was," it's like that. It's like that. So I'm not even gonna do that to Denver, man. Denver earned that title. They did what they did that. They beat Miami. Miami was a team in front of them. Now, do I think Miami was as good as them? Hell no. Do I think Miami really should have been in the finals? No. But Miami won and got to the finals. It ain't their fault that, Giannis got hurt. It ain't their fault that Boston can't get their shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't no them. But shout out to the Nuggets, man. They did their thing, man.
Hell yeah.
That's
and I think with that, we are complete. We are complete.
Indeed, sir.
Man, this is a show.
Wasn't it?
Did you miss me? I love you people. Everybody.
Like we always say, you ain't got to go home, but you got
to get the hell
up
out of
here. That's right.
That is absolutely right. For the homie Mayne Bastard Kush.
That's me.
For the one Lavish Blackman.
Yeah, I'm Black.
I am your boy Freddie Roy. And we will catch you
on the next
episode.
Play the outro.
Hey.
Peace out, people.
Cue it up, man.
If you the producer, man.
Fine, deal.
This is great.
I'll do it myself.
This is great.
The force will be with you always.
Hey, man, y'all sure y'all don't want to, burn one first, man?
Why did you say that name? How do you hear about
The champion!
What is thy bidding, my master?
Nice guy. Forever, forever, ever.